Okay, it's time for the listening. You're going to listen to 8 dialogues, and in each dialogue, you need to choose an answer, A or B. Let's review the questions first. What day of the week is the test? We are interested in the day of the test. What day is it today? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. What time is it? You need to pay attention and remember how we say the time. What times does the class start? This is another exercise to remember how to tell time. The date. Notice that we want to know when was the woman born, and the only difference are these two numbers, here and here. You need to listen carefully. What day does he want tickets for? Notice that the difference is the month. Be careful when you listen to the month. What number is the house? Think of the difference between these two numbers, 117 or 170. And how much are the flowers? Try to remember how we pronounce this number, 15, and how we pronounce this number, 50. Let's listen to the audio.
Listening 1.2. 1.
When's the test?
Next week.
Yeah, I know, but what day? Is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Neither one. It's Tuesday.
2.
The weekend goes so quickly.
I know. I can't believe that tomorrow is Monday.
3.
Excuse me, do you have the time?
Yes, it's 25 to 9.
Thanks.
4.
We're going to be late for class.
Relax. It doesn't start until 10:15. It's only 5 after.
5.
When was she born?
Let's see. She was born on August 23rd, 1977.
Where?
In Colombia.
6.
Do you have any tickets left for the 5th of June?
Let's see. Yes, we do. How many would you like?
2, please.
Okay, that's $40, please.
7.
Hello?
Hi, it's me. I'm on your street, but I can't remember the number of your house. Is it 117?
No, it's 170.
8.
How much are those flowers?
$50.
50? That's not cheap.
Okay, now check your answers. Now it's time for the classroom language. You need to complete the teachers' and the students' phrases. Remember, a phrase is not one word, it's a few words. So please your cell phone. Sorry, could you that please? For example, please turn off your cell phone, or please put away your cell phone. And the student says, sorry, could you repeat that please? Yeah, now not as a joke, but for study purposes. This section is called You Hear. These are typical things that you as a student hear because the teacher says them many times. Match the phrases and the pictures. Here are the pictures. Here are the phrases. Let's review these phrases. Ask and answer the questions. Don't write. In English, don't speak Spanish, please. Go to page 33. Write down the words. Sit down. Stand up. Look at the board. Turn off your cell phone, please. Work in pairs. Silence, please. Okay, you are ready to match picture number 1. After I count to 3 in my head, I will reveal the answer. Picture number 1. Yes, work in pairs. Picture number 2. In English, don't speak Spanish, please. Picture number 3. Turn off your cell phone, please. Picture number 4. Write down the words. Picture number 5. Don't write. Picture number 6. Stand up. Picture number 7. Sit down. Picture number 8. Look at the board. Picture number 9. Go to page 33. Picture number 10. Ask and answer the questions. And picture number 11. Silence, please. Okay, now these are things that you as a student say in class. And again, you need to match the phrases. Here you have one half, and here is the other half. Number 1 is done for you. How do you say this in English? And the answer is a sheep, because this is a sheep. Okay. How do you spell it? How do you spell that word? S-H-E-E-P. Could you repeat that, please? Yes, S-H-E-E-P. What does awful mean? Very bad. Can I have a piece of paper, please? Here you are. Which page is it? 84. Sorry, I'm late. That's okay. Sit down, please. Bye. See you. Bye. Have a good weekend. You too. See you on Monday. We studied what you hear as a student. We studied what you say as a student. And now what we are going to study, what you read as a student. You need to learn some vocabulary terms by matching instructions and pictures. Here are the instructions, and we have verbs. Verbs like circle, cross out, copy, match, underline, check, put, cover, complete, and choose. And we have some pictures. Let's start. If you have to select an answer, you have to choose an answer, right? Here, if you make this mark, you circle an answer. If you have to write something here in the line, you have to complete an answer. If you have to put a paper to not see this, you have to cover an answer. If you have to choose and make this mark, like this, you have to check an answer. If you have to read and make a mark like this, you have to put an X. If you need to make a mark like this, you have to put an X at an answer. If you have to put a line like this over the text, you have to cross out an option. Not the answer. Usually the answer is a good one. Usually you cross out an option, the incorrect option. If you have to correspond one thing and another thing, you have to match options. If you have to do something similar or identical, you have to copy the rhythm. And finally, if you have to make a line under a word, you have to underline an answer. Okay? And this is the last part of Unit 1A, pronunciation, the alphabet. Most of you know the alphabet. If you don't know the alphabet, you have to get online and learn it. And here you have a link, an option. This link is called English Alphabet and Spelling Names, Address, and Giving Email. But basically, any video that will help you learn the alphabet is fine. It is your job. But to be able to check if you know the alphabet, here we have an English sentence. That quick brown fox jumps over a lazy dog. If you can spell that sentence, you know the alphabet, because this sentence has all the letters in the alphabet. I will go through this sentence. T, H, A, T, Q, U, I, C, K, B, R, O, W, N, F, O, X, J, U, M, P, S, O, V, E, R, A, L, A, Z, Y, D, O, G. If you did that with the same rhythm and speed as the model, you know the alphabet. And that is the end of Unit 1A, and we start Unit 1B. Remember, this is video number 1, English for Future Teachers, Level 3. We studied Unit 1A, now we will study 1B, and these are the materials you need to prepare for Class 2. Here we have a general view of Unit 1B, and let's see in detail, let's analyze what we will study. Remember, Unit 1B is Who Knows You Better? And we will study simple present, family personality adjectives, and the pronunciation of the third person singular in simple present, and the plural S in nouns. We will do this by studying vocabulary, we will do a reading, then we will go to the grammar point, then we will do a listening to practice all this together, and finally the pronunciation of the letter of words that end in S. Let's start the unit. The first section reviews and presents new vocabulary on family and personality adjectives. First, let's review some vocabulary you already know. Can you remember these words? What is the opposite of thin or slim? What's your brother's wife? what's the name for the word for your brother's wife? And for your sister's daughter? And for your mother's brother? Can you remember your aunt's children? What is the relationship to you? Light hair is the opposite of what hair? And when we talk about people, what is the opposite of short? And what word do we use to describe your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, etc.? Here you have a grid from a crossword puzzle. And if you want, you can stop the video here to try to complete it. If not, at the count of 5, I will start providing the answers. The opposite of thin or slim is fat. Your brother's wife is your sister-in-law. Your sister's daughter is your niece. Your mother's brother is your uncle. Your aunt's children are your cousins. Light hair is the opposite of dark hair. The opposite of short, when describing a person, is tall. And your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, etc. are your family. As you can see, here we have a word. This is the mystery word. The mystery word is friendly. Friendly is an adjective to describe personality. Let's study a few more. You will need to match some adjectives and some definitions. Then we will need to introduce the opposite of that personality adjective. And you will need to study this on your own. So, we have some adjectives here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 adjectives. And some definitions, and we need to match them. So, a person who talks a lot is talkative. A person who likes giving presents is generous. A person who never does any work is lazy. A person who makes people laugh is funny. A person who is open and nice is friendly. And a person who is nervous and uncomfortable meeting new people is shy. And now let's work on the opposites. The opposites are in this section, and we need to match them with the opposite adjective. So, a person who doesn't talk a lot is quiet. A person who doesn't like giving presents is stingy. A person who does a lot of work is hard-working. A person who doesn't make people laugh is serious. A person who is not open and not nice is definitely unfriendly. And a person who isn't nervous or uncomfortable meeting new people is outgoing. And now let's do the reading with listening. This is the text we are going to read. Let's look at it with a little detail. First, we have a title. Who knows you better, your family or your friends? Then we have this section of text, and we have a second section of text. If we look at the second section of text, we can see that it starts and it finishes with quotation marks. This means that this text is not a description, it is said by a person. It is a person's experience or opinion. And if you look at it, you can see I. This is what one person says. It is full of I. If you look at the text over here, that doesn't happen. There is no I. So we have a title, a first section of text, a second section of text, and we also have a picture with information on who the people in the picture are. And we can see that we have 3 people. We have Richard Taylor, Meg, and Danny. And these 3 people are connected. We assume this is Richard, this is Meg, and this is Danny. And now we can know the relationship. Richard Taylor with his mother, Meg. Okay, so this is son and mother. And his friend, Danny. And this is Danny, Richard's friend. So they are friends, and they are son and mother. Who knows Richard better? Meg, his mom, or Danny, his friend? Who do you think knows this person better? Well, to be able to answer this question, we are going to read the text. First, we will read the introduction to the article, and afterwards, I will ask you, who is Richard? Who is Danny? What do Richard's mother and Danny try to do? And what does Richard have to do? Here we go. Who knows you better, your family or your friends? In our weekly test, single people who are looking for a partner ask their mother and their best friend to help. The mother chooses one partner and the best friend chooses another. The test is to see who can choose the best partner. This week's single man is Richard Taylor, a 26-year-old musician from Vancouver, Canada. His mother, Meg, chooses one woman, and his best friend, Danny, chooses another. Then Richard goes on a date with each woman. Which woman does he prefer? Who knows him better, his mother or his best friend? Who chooses the right woman for him? If you remember, the questions we needed to answer were, who is Richard? And the information is here. Who is Danny? And the information is here. What do Richard's mother and Danny try to do? There is the information. And what does Richard have to do? And there is the information. There is the information, but now you have to write it or say it as an answer. So, who is Richard? Richard is a musician. He is 26 years old. He is from Vancouver. Who is Danny? Danny is Richard's best friend. What do Richard's mother and Danny try to do? They try to choose the right woman for Danny. And what does Richard have to do? Richard has to go out on a date with each woman. In the next section, we will read the quote. We need to know who is talking, and after we read this, we will need to answer true or false. Okay? So, I usually work in Canada, but sometimes I work abroad too. When I'm not working, I like going to the movies and eating in nice restaurants. I don't like sports very much, and I don't exercise, but at least I don't smoke. I think I'm open and friendly. I get along well with most people, but I can be kind of shy too. For example, I don't like going to parties. I prefer to meet friends individually or in small groups. I like intelligent, funny women who make me laugh, and ideally who love music. Physically, I prefer women with dark hair who are not taller than me, and I like women who are good listeners. I'm sure that my friend Danny knows me better than my family because we often talk about girlfriends and the problems we have. I don't usually talk to my family about that kind of thing. My mom always says I look for the wrong kind of women, but that's what mothers always say. That was the text, and now we need to go through the true and false sentences. He sometimes travels for his job. I usually work in Canada, but sometimes I work abroad. If he works abroad, he sometimes travels for his job. He's friendly and outgoing. Well, I'm open and friendly, and I get along well with most people. So yes, I think he's friendly and outgoing. He likes music and parties. I don't like going to parties, so that is false. He prefers women who are shorter than he is. I prefer women with dark hair who are not taller than me, so that is true. He likes women who talk a lot. And I like women who are good listeners. Well, we have to understand that if they are good listeners, they can't talk a lot, so that would be false. He doesn't talk to his family about women. I usually don't talk to my family about that kind of thing. And that kind of thing is girlfriends and problems. So he doesn't talk to his family is true. And his mother doesn't think he's good at choosing girlfriends. My mom always says that I look for the wrong kind of woman. So, yes, his mother doesn't think he's good at choosing girlfriends is true. 3. Grammar point. Simple present. Before we review the simple present in affirmative and in negative, let's review the questions for simple present that we studied in the previous unit. Here we have 6 exercises. Each exercise is an incomplete question and an answer. You need to complete the question. To be able to complete the question, you need to read the answer and think what is the question. And make sure that you follow our chart. Let's check the first one. Where? In Vancouver, Canada. The question is, where does he live? And this follows the rules of word order in questions. Where, question word, does, auxiliary, he, subject, live, the base form. Let's do the others. What do? He's a musician. How do we ask in English the activity of a person? We ask by asking, what does he do? Where in Canada and abroad? We want to know about work. So the question is, where does he work? Smoke? No, he doesn't. We want to know about his habits and smoke. So the question is, does he smoke? No, he doesn't. Exercise much? No, he doesn't. We want to know his routine about exercise. So the question is, does he exercise much? No, he doesn't. Number 5. What kind of women? Intelligent and funny ones. We are interested in asking the kind of women that interest him. So we ask by saying, what kind of women does he like? Intelligent and funny ones. And number 6, to his mother about girls? No, he doesn't. And the question is, does he talk to his mother about girls? No, he doesn't. This was a review of the questions in simple present. But now let's study simple present affirmative, negative, questions, short answer that is affirmative, and short answer that is negative. Remember, in English, we need to sound polite. We can't say yes or no. We need yes plus something or no plus something. Remember, we need in affirmative, I, you, we, and they is just the base form, but he, she, it is the base form plus s. In negative, we always need an auxiliary, and the auxiliary has the s. The verb is in the base form. For questions, we need an auxiliary, do or does. Do for I, you, we, they. Does for he, she, and it. The minimum short answer for yes, when it's I, you, we, or they, is yes, I do. For no, no, I don't. The minimum answer for he, she, it is yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. Now there are 4 extra things you need to remember. You need to remember 4 rules for the S. The first one is that in general, the normal thing is to add an S, only an S, for he, she, it. If your verb ends in a Y, and before the Y there is a consonant, you delete the Y and you add IES. So consonant plus Y changes a little. Another rule you need to remember is that verbs that end in sh, s, ch, and x, you need to add ES. And we have some verbs that are a little irregular, and they are very normal verbs. Go, goes, do, does, have, has. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 things to remember. This is the normal situation. A special situation with a verb that ends in consonant Y. A special situation for verbs that end in sh, s, ch, x. And 3 irregular verbs. When do we need this simple present? We need simple present when we talk about things we do every day, every week, every year, or things that are always true. When we talk about every day, every week, every year, we usually talk about frequency. So many times when we use the simple present, we need adverbs and expressions of frequency. Last year, we studied adverbs like always, often, sometimes, usually, hardly ever, and never. When you use these adverbs of frequency, the adverb of frequency usually go before the main verb. So, he never goes out. I can say he goes out without an adverb, but if I use an adverb, he never goes out. He always goes out. But not after the verb. He goes never out. No, that is incorrect. So adverbs of frequency usually go before the main verb, except for the verb to be. She's always late. Here's the verb to be, and the adverb is after the verb. Not she always is late. No, she's always late. He's never home. Okay? And the other thing you need to remember is that sometimes we don't use an adverb. We don't use a word. We use an expression like every day, once a week, and those go at the end of the sentence. I have English classes twice a week. We don't say twice a week I have English classes, or I have twice a week English classes. No, if it is an expression, to the end. The book suggests these two exercises. The first one is pure mechanics, so stop the video and try to do it, because after I count to 3 in my head, you will see the exercise solution. The second exercise, you need to include the verb that makes sense. And after counting to 3, stop the video because I will show the solution. Okay, remember we were talking about Richard Taylor, his mother Meg, and his friend Danny. And they were going to choose girls for him. Okay, well, his friend's choice is Claire, and his mother's choice is Rosa. Here they are. Here is Claire, and here is Rosa. Which do you think he will like better? Claire or Rosa? You're going to listen to Richard talking about what happened when he met Claire and what happened when he met Rosa. First, what happened when he met Claire?
Listening 1.3.
I was very optimistic when I went to meet Claire. My first impression was that she was very friendly and outgoing. Physically, she was my type. She was rather slim and not very tall, with long dark hair. Very pretty. And she was very funny, too. She had a great sense of humor. We laughed a lot. But the only problem was that Claire was very talkative. She talked all the time, and I just listened. She wasn't very interested in me. At the end of the evening, I knew everything about her, and she knew nothing about me. Claire was the kind of woman I could have as a friend, but not as a girlfriend.
Does he like Claire? He likes her as a friend, but not as a girlfriend. Okay, now let's listen to Rosa.
Listening 1.4.
When I first saw Rosa, I couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, thanks, Mom. She's very attractive. She has short dark hair, and she's fairly tall. She's Mexican, from Guadalajara, but her English was fantastic. At first, she was a little shy, but when we started talking, we found we had a lot of things in common. We both liked music, good food, and traveling. We got along really well. We didn't stop talking for the whole evening. When it was time to go, I knew I really wanted to see Rosa again, and I asked her to go on another date. But she just smiled at me and said in her beautiful Mexican accent, "Richard, you're very sweet, but I'm sorry, you're not my type."
Does he like Rosa? Richard likes her very much and wants to see her again. What are the problems? What are the problems with Claire? The problem is that she talked a lot about herself and didn't seem very interested in him. And remember, he likes good listeners. And the problems with Rosa? The problem is that Rosa doesn't think he's her type. So Rosa is not convinced. Now try to write down some adjectives or expression that Richard uses to describe Claire and Rosa. You may want to listen to the audio again, but at the count of 3, I will reveal some examples. These are the ones it uses to describe Claire, and these to describe Rosa. Who knows Richard better, his mother or Danny? Are you surprised? If you send me an email with the answer to these questions, I will give you extra credit. Or an audio. It can be an audio or in writing, as you choose.